Hi, everybody, and welcome to Freak of the Week. I'm Linda,
And I'm Rosie.
and today we have with us Filomena Jack. She is a teaching artist in Elmira, and she has a great story to share. Take it away, Philly.
So thank you so much for having me. I actually have two stories, so you have to wait to the end to hear the second one, which is probably weirder on my account. In both of these cases, I'm the freak. So
Oh,
I feel like
yay.
I have to put on my goggles so that because I'm not actually embarrassed by these stories, but
No, when we
so
think being a freak can be a good thing.
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah, so one of the things that I do professionally is I am a certified personal development coach. So I help people with their brain stuff. It's not therapy, it is not spirituality, it is just helping people through. And if I could go back, both of these stories took place in the 1900s. If I could go back and help 1900s Philomena, I would have. But so this is the first story. I meet this fella somewhere. At the time, there were Time Out New York would have personal ads, and I wasn't looking for the kinky seven-way hookup. I was looking for dates,
Mhm.
go out. So I met this fella. We went out a couple of times. I knew it wasn't like a super passionate match, but it was fine. We go to Bryant Park, one of my favorite places in New York, to watch a movie on the big screen on the lawn, right?
Oh,
Thousands of people, right? You have to claim your stake with a blanket, and we're watching the movie. I don't remember the movie. But I remember saying to him, I turned to him in the middle of this romantic date on the lawn with all of these people. I turned to him and said, "You know what? I feel really lonely. I'm gonna leave." It
What?
was it was my it was my blanket, so I had him get up. I'm like,
Can you move?
I gotta go, and I took it. So, and I didn't really have an explanation at the time, but it's very easy to feel lonely in a crowd,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Especially when you don't feel energetically connected to, let's say, I didn't feel connected to the date. I didn't know anyone else there. I guess I wasn't that into the movie, but I left the guy, but I took my blanket.
I left the guy and I took my blanket.
Yeah, right. Did you just like pull it out from under him?
In my head, I wish I had been able to do the magician's tablecloth, but no. So, he was fine. There was nothing wrong with him. He just wasn't my person, and it just felt like it just felt oppressive to not be with your person, to be around all these other people who did seem to be with their person,
Mm.
you know? And I knew I was going to have to get on the PATH train back to Jersey City. Like it just seemed like a lot. And so I left.
Did he ever call you again?
He did call me.
Of course he did.
Wanted to make sure you were okay. Did he ask you out again?
Yeah, he was like, "You want to come over for a cuddle session?" No.
Of course he did. Oh my
I
God.
left you in a park and took the blanket.
Right, right. Yeah, like I wasn't leaving any hints that I was coming back. I took the blanket, I, another real quick, like I once accidentally left like my mittens or something in some guy's car accidentally, and he called me back. He's like, you didn't have to leave the mittens. I was like, those are yours now, dude. Like,
I
no,
never want to see you again. So I guess I would ask the question, Philly, would you have made a different choice instead of going to a movie with hundreds or thousands of people? Do you think you might have gotten to know him better had you done something a little more quiet or a little more alone?
well, this was maybe our like third date or
Oh,
so.
okay, so this wasn't a first date. Okay.
Yeah, and so I guess I felt fine enough. I remember him being funny, and humor is really important to me. So I remember him being funny. I don't remember like a strong physical attraction. I remember we smooched a little bit, like on a park bench, but that by that third date, I was like, I can't feel this disconnected doing something I like in a place that I like on a blanket I like. I, you
It is all about the blanket.
know, fabric is important.
Absolutely. Oh, the mittens you were able to forego, the blanket, no.
Right. So I feel if if this person was still in my like circle somehow, I would apologize now because I don't think it was cool what I did. I could have sucked it up. I could have just like watched the movie and had the snacks, you know. But I'm
So what,
still
you had to carry the snacks home too, or did you leave them the snacks?
um that's a good question. Well, I
Linda's
must have
worried
been
about the food.
full. If I must have been full because if I were hungry, I probably would have taken the snacks too. But we must have eaten those by that time.
So how old were you when that happened?
So this was, let's see, I was maybe I was at drinking age, so it was maybe like 23-ish,
Hmm.
maybe.
I think it's cool though that even young, I mean that's young. You stayed true to yourself and said, you know what, I just can't put myself through this because I think all of us have uh, done things, sat places where you're rolling your eyes, you're trying to think, how in the hell can I get out of this? And I give you credit because that's a ballsy move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I do feel that I do think it was rude. I could have just like if it were reversed and it was his blanket.
Oh, there's no use trying to spin it. No, I mean,
If it were reversed and he had gotten up and said, nope, that wouldn't have felt great, you know.
I mean,
But
I think but you were honest, right? You
oh
were
yeah,
honest with the reason. You were honest with the reason, and you're like, gotta go. Took the blanket and you
not
left.
feeling
I,
it.
I remember feeling so lonely. It yeah. I still like ugh, yeah, nope. Okay, so here's the other one where I was the freak.
Love that.
The freak.
The freak. So again, met him through a personals ad, and he said he was 5'9". I'm 5'6". He was not 5'9". We Our first date was at the. He was a cartoonist, an illustrator, fabulous artist. We met and went to the Museum of Modern Art. No, we went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. It's great. Met him on the steps. Wasn't 5'9". I don't care. Let's go look at the paintings. Had a great time. Um, Second or third date, and I must have dated this guy for a little bit longer because I remember, you know, some hanky panky stuff. Um, this is when I broke up with him. We went to see the year was 1994. We went to see Bullets Over Broadway in the movies, Woody
Mhm.
Allen movie, and the whole movie is really this beautiful dialogue about what it is to be an artist, how to live an artist's life, and uh, the crazy things in our heads. I loved the movie. I clapped. I was like, yes, at the end. And I turned to him and I was like, oh my God, that movie was amazing. He's like, I didn't get it. And I was like, done. How terrible of me. Like up until that point, things were fine. He wasn't 5'9", but otherwise it was fine. Oh, okay. So this was the high school sweetheart. Um, it Yeah, the high school sweetheart. We both don't like the band Kiss. And so I go into his room one day and there's a on the record player because it was the 1900s was the he had queued up the song Beth by Kiss. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? Sure enough, he gets Beth pregnant, ends up
Oh
marrying
my,
her.
It's a horrible
no.
song, by the way. It's a horrible song.
It's a horrible song. So fast forward to my lovely, amazing husband. We've been married now 24 years. He's amazing. I love him. He is the love of my life. I'm very lucky. Again, this was, I don't know, 15 years ago. I don't know. I get into his car and he's a musician, so music is really important in our house. Um, the band that comes on his radio, his stereo in the car is a band he hasn't listened to before, and it's a little bit different of genre. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Who is she? Of
From
course, of course it was no one. It was, of course, it was just interested in a new band, and that was that. But the genre was off enough. Like, my husband's a metal, like a heavy metal musician. He's toured the world with like heavy musician bands. So for this to be like a little softer, a little poppy, it was like, what? No, mm-mm.
what's her name?
I'm like,
Right,
who is she?
right. He's like, you
If it
are,
was, it would have been horrible.
yeah.
If you were giving advice, and again, it could be any age group, you can pick one, it could be just in general, what advice would you give for people who are dating today?
Like, nowadays, people ghosting, it's so easy to not answer, right? And when I hear people talk about that, or I've recently had you know someone in my community just ghost, and it makes me so mad, because just say, you can't play in my sandbox, or I'm too busy for this. Just, ooh, the ghost. Nope.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to, like, use that as a practice for, like, so let's assume you're ghosting someone and it's not an important interaction, right? Practice getting out of that relationship, that circumstance, so that when it is an important
Mhm.
situation, like a job, you have to talk to your supervisor, you have to talk to someone you're managing, like, practice those skills. If those don't come to you naturally, practice them when it's not important. So stop the fucking ghosting.
Yeah.
Give people a break. So when I hear a lot of younger people talking about their dating stories, so people are mean to one another. Stop it. Stop it. Even if you think it's just joking with your friends, even if you think it's just it has doesn't have a consequence, it does have a consequence. Don't
Mhm.
talk shit. You don't know who's related to who. It's just bad energy. Like,
Yeah.
why send out bad energy? Again, why waste your breath on talking shit? Just, like, let it go. If you have a little joke with your friends, okay, but, like, don't go spreading that just negative poison around. You're right. Kiss a lot of frogs. Again, nobody wants to be wrong. So people are showing up in the beginning, um, trying to show you their best selves. It may take 3 or 4 dates before you really get to see behind the curtain. So you may have to go on a bunch of 3 or 4 dates.
Would you, if you were guessing based on your experience, not your own personal experience because you've been married quite a while, but on the people that you interact with, would you say that most people are honest
I don't
with
think
their
people are
intentions?
honest. I don't think people are honest, and I don't think they're honest with themselves, right? Um, when you're feeling lonely, you will do practically anything to cure that. So you'll show up as a person who's looks like they're going to fit with this other person. You're going to make yourself the puzzle piece that fits with this other person because you're feeling lonely. Um, so you have to know yourself better than that. You have to know that, um, a person who doesn't want to be physically active, it's a deal breaker, right? Don't tell, if you're a runner and you go on a date with someone who is not a runner, don't diminish your light as a runner for to fit that person. And that's a pretty benign thing, but if you don't want to have kids, right? Or you're not sure, don't say you do want to have kids just to fit that puzzle piece. If you know you don't want an instant family, if you don't want to date somebody who already has kids and an ex and all these things, if you know that about yourself, be upfront right away. Don't waste the other person's time. Don't waste your own time. Yeah, and I think one of the reasons I'm so happily married, and it's not that we are perfect to each other every minute of the day, um, it's is friendship. Once I think friendship always, but that's really what has sustained our marriage is that we are always friends. How would you treat your friend? The person you marry or the your partner is not your twin.
Right.
It is a person you have decided to dedicate a portion of your life to, right?
Mhm.
Remain friends always. Remain friends. If they're doing something jerky, is it time to call them out on it? Well, would you do that to a friend? That's the same thing for your spouse or your mate.
Um,
Absolutely. Your stories and your insight were terrific.
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Um, so with that, just remember you two are
Freak of
Someone's
the
freak
week.
of the week. Yay! Woo! Yay! Thanks, Philly.